Welcome. It's been a day. Oh my gosh. Okay. I feel like I need some color. Sorry. I'd normally do this beforehand. We're live. We're live. So if you're on, say hello. I'd love to hear from you. I'm not used to doing things like this. I tested out a live situation earlier today, and went okay. It doesn't seem to be lagging as much as it was this morning, so I may have figured some stuff out, which is good. I'm here to talk to you about the 2022 energy insights that I got from my guides. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jackie Ellis. I'm from JackieEllis.com. I'm an intuitive guide and mentor, Reiki master. My friends call me an energetics master. So I am so excited to be here today to talk to you about this. It is being recorded, at least it was this morning, so fingers crossed that it's recording. If not, then I'll re-record it. And so then you'll have it in the file, in the membership platform for Soul Talk especially. So then you'll be able to go back to it as much as you want, as much as you need. Okay, so I promised you that the energy insights for the entire year are going to follow the similar platform as the monthly energies, where I'll talk about the 6 pillars of life, give you messages that I get for the 6 pillars of life. So that is our career, our relationships, our wealth, which is our quality of life, our health, personal development, and spirituality. And we will see how that all plays out. We'll see how it all plays out. But let's just say, based on the reading that I got for 2022, it's going to be an interesting year. Another growth year. But it will be, it'll be good. It'll be good. So, the overall message for 2022. So the overall message, the words that I got was, we are to nurture our strengths and then lead our way towards our dreams. So nurture our strengths and then lead ourselves towards our dreams, giving us a fresh new beginning. So, there is a theme for 2022 of new beginnings, fresh starts, brand new beginnings for lots of people. And I think that goes hand in hand with a lot of people finding that there was endings in 2020 and endings in 2021, and some of those were not planned. Some of them were very much I can't do this anymore. I need to do what aligns with me. And so it was a conscious decision that you participated in. But some people lost their jobs and they weren't expecting that. So the messages that I want you to know is that the new beginnings, that there is a broad, sweeping, cleansing energy that's happening in the world right now. And it is bringing in, it's calling in. We are manifesting new beginnings. That's what we are doing right now. There's many of us that have worked through what we need to work through, and we are just calling in fresh new beginnings with positive energy. And I personally am thanking you for joining me in that effort. So, career. I'm going to talk about career first. Careers, that this pillar could be your hobby. It could be a passion that you have that is really aligned with yourself. It doesn't necessarily need to be the job that you go to every day. It's just talking about really the passion that you have for within your life. Excuse me. Okay, so if you are feeling stuck right now, if you're feeling stuck in your circumstances, they may feel like you may feel like things are out of your control. Or you may feel bored. Or maybe you feel overwhelmed to the point where you don't know which direction to take. And you're kind of floundering in some senses. I want you to look within. We are being told to look within and ask for guidance, because we will get that guidance when we look within. If we're looking outside of ourselves, asking other people for advice, we may get advice that is well-meaning, but it may be based on their own fears. I know as a coach, I typically won't give advice. I will ask my clients to really search for the answers within themselves, and then whatever they choose to do, that is their decision. I don't know what's going on with my hair right now, but anyway. Okay, so look within and ask yourself what you could do to reignite your passion. So, like, I know that there's been lots of times where we have spent an immense amount of energy, doing things that are productive, but that don't align with who we are. Don't speak to us on a deep level. They don't feel fulfilling in any way. And if life is lacking in that creative passion, if life is lacking in that joy, that fun energy, then it's time to try and reignite that creative energy within yourself, that creative passion within yourself, and find it again. It is doing things little by little that will help you do that. It is finding activities that you enjoy. Maybe doing activities that you did as a child that seem like they're silly to do as an adult, but it brings that creative energy that we had as children back again. It is starting new projects that are fun and creative, even if they don't make sense. Even if it's just a hobby for now, it will blossom into something that it will start igniting that creative energy in yourself, so that you can maybe explore even a job that feels more fulfilling for you, that speaks to you on a deep level. I want you to nurture this year. I want you to nurture your accomplishments. Recognize the tiny baby steps that you take, and celebrate those steps little by little, because that is telling your brain that you are enjoying your life, that you are intentionally creating a life that you love. I want you to try and slow down enough so that you can hear your intuition and to know what aligns with you. Instead of just blindly letting life go by, I want you to actively participate in some way. I want you to assess opportunities based on what your intuition's telling you, not necessarily what the people around you are saying to you. And I want you to most of all pause before reacting. So if something doesn't necessarily make sense, but it kind of intrigues you, it's pausing long enough to allow that intrigue to flow through you so that you can feel whether or not, like, if it aligns with you, if it feels right, if it's interesting enough to be too good to pass up. When you allow yourself to do this, you allow yourself to see possible new beginnings. You allow yourself to branch away from the old, stagnant life and create a life that you love. It allows you to see what opportunities await you. Relationships are also going to be a big thing for this year. Huge thing for this year. For the last couple years, we have relationships have been tested. People have branched away from relationships from certain people. They've given themselves the space that they need to get through what they need to go through. They've exited toxic relationships. And they may find themselves now as 2022 progresses, as we enter into 2022, there is going to be opportunities to come back together again in big ways. There is, lots of us have changed. We're no longer the same people that we were before. And so that relationship dynamic, that office relationship dynamic, that personal relationship dynamic, the family relationship dynamics are going to be different. They're going to be different, and we can't necessarily walk into a situation and expect the person to be the same person that they were before, because we certainly may not be the same people that we were before. But I also want you to think about your own relationship with yourself. So there's a few different relationship categories that I'm going to talk about briefly for 2022, because relationships are definitely a hot topic for 2022. And I will say this, the messages that I got for most of 2021 about learning how to pause before reacting, learning to see other people's perspectives, learning to see things from different perspectives that you used to see, is going to be key. You're going to be using those muscles more as we're allowed to re-engage in old relationships that we had previously, as we are allowed to create new in-person relationships again. And it's not going to necessarily be smooth and easy, especially since we've lost that muscle a little bit. So it's using those muscles again, and trying out new muscles that we maybe didn't know how to use in the past, that we can use now. Pausing before reacting is going to give you that breathing room that you may need to navigate those relationships in a healthy way. So your relationship with yourself. This is important because, and it really ties into the personal development and spirituality part of things. But your relationship with yourself, what I got for a message was all of us need to look within to feel what is truth. It is being observant and mindful to learn the patterns that we have and being able to focus on what matters. And I think this is important here because when we are entering into an interaction with another person or a work situation that in the past has been uncomfortable and we're not sure how it's going to turn out now, we have to be able to walk into that with confidence that we will know how to conduct ourselves in a way that is healthy for us, but is also honorable for the other people involved. We need to be able to walk into that situation and be able to see things from not only a new perspective for us, but possibly try and see things from the other person's perspective, so that we can have a little bit more compassion for the situation and a whole lot more love than we maybe had before. It is allowing our intuition to guide us to know what we need to do, but it's also sending love to yourself and to other people through it all. What about community relationships? So our community that we live in, our online community, there is an intuitive path that we are all following. We are all on a journey. We're all on our individual journeys, and we're learning how to bring balance within the community, within the world, once again. That is what is coming to us. What is coming to us is a balancing energy that is going to help us really step into our power easier than it ever has before. And when we are trying to build a community back up again, it is learning to trust the path, learning to trust our intuition, and know that we are supported always through it all. Let's talk about parental relationships as well as authority figures at work, your home life, your family life with the kids and your spouse or your partner. When we want to put the time and effort in to those relationships, if those relationships matter to us, it's worth putting the time and effort in. If you're finding that it's not worth putting the time and effort in, then maybe it's time to choose to exit those relationships. But I want you to know that if you choose to put the time and effort into a relationship and know how you want to feel in that relationship through the days that you spend interacting with those people, and know how you want to identify yourself within that relationship, how you want to be in that relationship, those relationships will flourish in love if you put love into it. It doesn't necessarily mean that the other person's going to change the way you expect them to change. That doesn't mean the other person's going to react or interact with you in the same way that you would like them to. but it gives them an opportunity. It builds the bridge that you would like. And if they're not ready yet, you can send them love until they are ready. What I'm being shown is that there's a bright new future where we're going to be allowed to come back together again, where people are going to come back together again. And those that are focusing on what matters to them are going to be leading the way. Friendships, our youth, our social life. There has been restricted mobility when it comes to how we are allowed to socialize, how we're allowed to interact with other people. Our children have been impacted, our friendships have been impacted in many ways, but in other ways there has been new friendships that have blossomed in surprising ways as online communities have come together. And some of us have found a new tribe of people that support them and love them for who they are. But I want you to know that as things open up again and we find ourselves wanting to rebuild the old relationships, it may take some work. I want you to focus on the ones that matter most to you. Don't spread yourself too thin. If you had 200 friends before, you may not want to try and engage with 200 friends now. But it is focusing on who matters most to you, focusing on what you value most about that relationship, and try to find ways to express how much you value that relationship. It's also lifting your head and looking for new opportunities and fresh ways to renew the old relationships. So remember that you aren't the same person that you were 2 years ago. And they're possibly not the same person they were 2 years ago either. I want you to let go of the past and explore what's possible. Maybe be a little bit cautious about entering into those relationships as you try and see how they've changed, and find new ways to show them who you are now. And it's earning trust back. It is some people there is some relationships where bridges were burned, and brand new bridges need to be built. That trust needs to be rebuilt because things were said in heated moments, and there's a lot of regret and forgiveness needed in order to rebuild that relationship. But if you do that and you learn to pause before reacting, you'll be able to get there. It just may take a little bit, and it may take some work in order to get that far. Okay, so I talked about career, I talked about relationships. Let's talk about wealth. Wealth to me is more than just finances. Wealth is also our quality of life. It's how we want to feel in our days. It's how we want to live our life. The places we want to see, the experiences we want to have, the people we want to be around while we're doing those things. It's the quality of the sheets that we want to sleep on every night. It's the food we want to taste, and it's it's how we want to experience our life in general, how we want to feel while we're experiencing that life. And when we are envisioning life in 2022, I want you to give it some thought as to what could that mean for you? What could your quality of life be like? Because right now we're calling in a manifestation that is powerful and changing and cleansing. There are changes that are possible that will help us improve our quality of life. And they're flowing in very supportive ways. But they're going to be massive changes that we won't necessarily be comfortable with in the beginning, but they will help us in the end. In order to get through that, though, we're going to have to learn to leave the past behind. See what we're attached to for expectations of how we think systems and processes should happen. You know, when we find ourselves at a bank machine and it's not working the same way, or the buttons have changed or whatever, we can take a deep breath and just use it as a learning opportunity and maybe ask for some help from a banking advisor and see if we can muddle through it the best way that we can. It is looking for fresh opportunities to help us pave new pathways, help us get out of the sticky situations that we've found ourselves in the past, and try to do things in new ways. Try to look for new opportunities that are exciting and new for us. It is learning to lead with our heart instead of our ego, and learning to have unconditional love for other people, learning to be able to give unconditional love without having any expectations of getting anything in return. It is knowing what matters to you and intentionally focusing on taking care of yourself and giving of yourself out of the overflow. It is finding balance by following our dreams instead of just letting life pass us by. And it's knowing that we are supported always, no matter what. It is 2022 is not only being able to give abundantly with love, but also to know how to receive abundance with love. It is recognizing your own personal growth and knowing that you have more resources than you ever thought possible. So yes, even when you feel stuck, even when you feel like you don't know where to go, if you look within, if you listen to that inner voice within, you will find the solution. You will find the baby steps that will take you down the right path, trusting each step and improving your quality of life, creating that life you love, one step at a time. Health. Okay, so this one's a big one for me. I've been feeling a pull to really look at my physical health a little more. My mental, my emotional is good. I've got those tools tucked away in my toolbox. I know how to handle those. It's just the physical stuff now. But when I talk about health, I talk about the pillar of health is really our mental and our emotional and our physical well-being. The spiritual well-being is pillar 6. So our health, the messages I got for health is, again, trusting your intuition. Again, this is a theme. The feminine energy is flowing in big time. It has through 2021. And we will see the benefits of that in 2022 if we learn to trust it. If we learn to trust the intuition and the guidance that we're being given. And taking swift action. It's none of this, I'm going to start exercising next week. I'm going to start eating better next week. No, it's not like getting down on yourself for not doing it, missing a workout. It is when you get the thought that this is what you need to do, you make an intentional decision and you actually go and do it. Or you put it in your schedule and honor that commitment to yourself. It is intentionally choosing a healthier way of living. So instead of ignoring your thoughts and feelings, it is acknowledging what you're thinking and feeling so that you can work through what you need to work through in that moment. It is seizing the moment and trusting your path. It is nurturing your accomplishments. So again, this is coming up again. We don't spend enough time actually recognizing the little steps that we've made, the positive things that we've done in our life. And when we don't do that, we're telling our brain that we aren't worthy. We're not doing anything because we're not paying attention to the stuff we are doing. When life is too busy, we tend to disregard our own mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. We push it all aside, stuff down the feelings, and just ignore just to get through what we think we need to get through. What I'd like you to do in 2022 is actually intentionally choose to notice when you can't hear that inner voice inside of you. If you can't hear that inner voice inside of you, then you need to slow down long enough to listen, long enough to hear it. And we need to stop judging ourselves. Many times on my videos, I'm telling people that if we are judging, where there's judgment, no love can exist. We need to give ourselves immense amount of love in order to get through what we need to get through, to learn what we need to get learned, to step into a life that we want to create. We need to love ourselves through it and accept the journey no matter what. We are given this opportunity of birthing a new age and getting a fresh start. As many evils in this world have been cleansed out. A fresh new beginning. And if we aren't slowing down enough to appreciate that and enjoy life just a little bit more, then we're not taking care of our own health and well-being. And it's time that we do that. It's time that we do that. Personal development. Okay, so personal development. Big changes happening to the way life has been for many, 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 many years. Lots of foundational changes are happening around the world, and life isn't going to be the same as what we've known it to be. And change isn't easy when we are attached to, processes that have happened for years, and we don't like change. A lot of people don't like change. A lot of people resist change because it makes them feel uncomfortable. I want you to trust yourself to know that you can learn. You can teach an old dog new tricks. As much as they say you can't, you can. May take a little bit longer. May need some resistance cut and released in some way. But you can learn. You can grow, and you can expand in new ways. I want you to notice doubt. Notice when you're feeling self-doubt. Trust yourself and honor yourself and others in any situation. This is going to be big. Try and pause before reacting at seeing things from different perspectives, and trusting that you'll get through it in any way. And my grandpa always used to say it may be a dirty wash, but it all comes out the same. In other words, we can go down a path. We can make a decision to go down a path. It may not necessarily be the direct route that our intuition was telling us to go down. Maybe it's going down a little bumpier road and a wider path, and one that takes a little bit longer to get through. But we will get to the spot we're supposed to eventually. It just may hurt a little more. But it'll have more learning opportunities and more growth opportunities than we ever could imagine. Either way, we're supported. And either way, we'll be guided all the way through it, every step of the way. So all we can do is love ourselves through the journey, do the best that we can, and enjoy the moments. When we see ourselves stepping into the shadows, we notice that we've stepped into the shadow, and we come out of the shadow again and learn how to balance. That's how we learn how to balance. That's how we learn how to grow and learn and expand and be in alignment with our higher self. That's how we develop our relationship with ourself. That's who we find who we are. When you feel stuck, it's harnessing that creative energy within you, trusting your intuition, and asking, okay, what can I do to spice things up a little in my life? What can I do to move forwards towards my dreams again? Spirituality. For me, spirituality has really got nothing to do with religious dogma. Spirituality for me is your relationship with a higher power, with your higher self, with your soul. And it's learning to trust your intuition, learning to love yourself through it, so that you can be who you were meant to be. To me, that's your spiritual growth. So when you are noticing when you're stuck or overwhelmed or doubtful or extremely busy doing the avoiding things, look within. Recognize those moments and look within. I want you to trust your intuition, whatever your inner voice is telling you, and take those steps to build that trust. Notice the steps you're doing to build that trust again. I want you to nurture the accomplishments. Celebrate the small things. I want you to slow life down enough so that you can listen to that inner voice and find ways to reignite your creative energies. To find that inner child within you. And trust who she is or who he is again. When we can do that, we have all the resources we need within us. We will find that resources will naturally flow to us when we need it. We are always supported. And 2022 won't be any different. Abundance is flowing for us in 2022. And I, for one, am super excited about what is to come. So if you're watching this before the new year, from my family to yours, I wish you the happiest new year, a safe, happy new year, and much love. Much love to you all. If you have not liked, shared, or subscribed or followed, please do so. Drop a comment below. Happy New Year, everyone. Until next time, be simply you. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Much love.